Hi, Chris.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
yes, people are going to join us here in just a minute.
How many people do you have?
Just 117.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we're being recorded right now.
Oh,
No big deal. I'm going to try to snip it up one way or another. So, are you are you able to present on screen?
yes.
All right.
Are you gonna click my slides?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll just roll with the punches. And
Oh, and I'm not on camera, right?
correct. Okay. Looks like we got everybody in, and welcome to the Path to Procurement series. And we'll be discussing the sourcing opportunities. Once again, I'm Christopher Cooks, the program manager for the Illinois Apex Accelerator at the Southland Development Authority. And with that, we'll lead into our itinerary. And we're also going to lead into Ms. Jamie Maku on the presentation for Business Growth Services. So go ahead, Jamie, and take it away.
Chris, I lost your screen. Your presenting screen is not up. There you go. Thank you. Apologize for the minor glitch there. Chris was all ready and then it kind of glitched on us, and here we are again. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today, Thursday, for a little bit of an intro about Business Growth Services. I am Jamie Maku. I'm with Southland Development Authority. I'm on the Business Growth Services team, and I'm a relationship manager. The Southland Development Authority is a nonprofit organization designed to grow the economy of the Cook County, to grow the economy of the suburbs of Cook County, the south suburbs. We launched in 2019 by business, civic, and political leaders across the Southland, and the SDA brings the resources and capacity to achieve transformative and inclusive economic growth for the region. Our main focuses are on investment in industry, workforce, housing, and communities, and the goal is to make all of those better. We provide confidential one-on-one business advising with our business clients of the South Suburbs. We connect entrepreneurs to resources and networks to grow their business. This is something we do on a daily basis. We're constantly connecting our entrepreneurs and making them available, making them aware of the resources that are available to them as entrepreneurs, whether they're a new business, existing business, or a business that's been around for years. We also provide educational opportunities and capacity building in order to educate our entrepreneurs. We want to know what will help them grow and what will help them succeed, so we can provide those programs to them to make them better educated in their path in this business industry. Some of the programs that we offer are special programs, expert consulting, which is one-on-one, business education, and of course, here we are today, government contracting. All of our programs we try to bring on are either based on feedback provided to us by our clients through surveys and just conversations, or just seeing the struggles they're dealing with in this economy. So we try to put all of our programs to be programs that fit the needs of our business owners. They are asking for the programs. They want to see them. They need them, and we deliver. Some of the ones we've done is we've done the Tax Pro Assistance Program, which provides professional tax preparation at a low cost. You can look for that as we get closer to spring. That'll come on and you'll see that kind of put out there and you'll be able to sign up for that opportunity. Right now, one of our biggest and most exciting campaigns that we are working on, which happens to be one of the campaigns that I'm active with right now, is the Shop Southland campaign. We have 5 businesses that are brick and mortar businesses. They're Main Street small businesses within Cook County. They're not corporations, they're small businesses. And we are doing our Shop Southland campaign, which provides these businesses with marketing tips, direction, reels on social media, a deep dive into their business to figure out what areas they can learn to grow, what areas they're struggling in, what areas they're succeeding in helping these businesses come out ahead after this is done, this campaign. This has been going on for a few weeks. Keep an eye on social media. You might even see some of these this week, as a few of them have featured reels this week on social media. We also do networking events. Some of the best things we do are the networking events. We love to have business owners meet other business owners. We've had many business owners connect with other business owners, share resources, share connections. We've had business owners walk away friends. We've had business owners walk away partnering with another business owner to put on an event. Lots of success in this area of networking. We truly want to foster our community and make connections. And then we do the one-on-one expert consulting. We sit down with you via a Google Meet call or on a phone call, whatever's easiest for you, or in person. We meet with you to talk about some of the areas you need help. We help your business innovate. We address your market gaps. We attract new ventures. We work with your business, with business owners to walk through your business plan, to talk about the success of your business, where you need to thrive, where you are succeeding, where you're not succeeding. We come in and help with marketing, finance, real estate development, law, operations, human resources, and so much more. And then from that, we are proud to, from that, those experiences, whether it's a networking event, one-on-one consulting, a webinar, or a just, you know, the growth of the business, we then take it to the next level and we reach out to our clients and we ask them for testimonials and success stories, because these truly allow for us to share with other business owners the success that current business owners have experienced while working with SDA and the business growth services team. We want you to succeed. We want to be able to share your story. And by sharing your story, we're not only talking about your success, we're marketing your business yet again. We're making your business be out there and other businesses be aware of your business. It's just another great opportunity where we provide free marketing access for your business. And then we also do lots of different areas on business education. Once again, we collect surveys. We ask you, what do you need? What will make you grow? What area do you need help in? Where are you thriving? Where are you succeeding? And then we come in and put on some webinars for you that truly fit those needs. One of them that we just most recently did was Think Like a CFO with Stanley Jackson, one of our consultants. And then we did Unleashing Entrepreneurship Leadership. And that was an in-person event, super exciting, very positive. Lots of people walked away feeling better about themselves, ready to hit the ground and running, and have just more positive approach to approaching their business on a daily basis. And then here we are with government contracting. Chris Cooks is on the Southland development team. He's a great coworker of mine, as well as a mentor. I know he's going to do a great job today talking to you about government contracting. And if anyone is interested in learning more about business growth services and business advising, I can definitely talk to you further and Chris can connect you with me. We do ask that you take the time here because I did mention it, to fill out this survey. If you could hold up your phone, scan the QR code, let us know what you're looking for. What is it that you need? Where can we help you grow? Where can we help you succeed? Where do you struggle? No business is perfect. Everybody needs something to grow, something to succeed. If we were all great business owners, everybody would not be on, everybody would be the most successful person and not be on, involved in our webinars and in our networking events. Everybody truly needs one another as well as advice from others to grow. Please take the time to let us know what you need so that we can deliver those needs to you. If you just take your phone and scan right there at the QR code, that will lead you right to the survey. And once again, if anyone needs to connect with me, Chris would be happy to connect you with myself or one of my team members on the Business Growth Services team. I thank you, all of you, for taking the time to listen to my, what I call elevator speech about business growth services. I love what I do. I love being able to help business owners on a daily basis and let them succeed and see them succeed.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Chris. And you guys are all going to enjoy Chris. He's great at what he does, and he truly has a passion for what he does. So thank you for your time, and take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Jamie. So today we're going to talk about sourcing opportunities, and let's jump right into it and get started. What is government contracting? The government purchases everything. Government contracting involves the process by which government agencies, federal, state, and local, procure goods and services from the private sector. This can include everything from office supplies and construction services to advanced technology systems and defense equipment. Government contracting is highly regulated to ensure transparency, fairness, and competition. Always like to start out with, is your business ready? Are you an established business? Do you have a business plan? Can you afford to sell to the government? And does your company have a history of sales? Have you done the necessary market research? And is your company e-commerce capable? If you've answered yes to these questions, you may be ready for government contract. And the Business Growth Services team with Jamie, they can help with many of these aspects to make sure that you're prepared and ready for government contracting. The key aspects we're going to review today are sourcing opportunities, the types of purchases, the types of contracts, and assessing solicitations, and we'll follow it up with a Q&A at the end. Sourcing opportunities in government contracting refer to the various ways that a business can supply goods and services to a government agency. You can find government solicitations on several key platforms depending on the level of government and the type of contract you're interested in. What does the government purchase? What are some of the primary sources for funding government solicitations? What are some types of contracts? Where can you bid? And how does a business review government solicitations? First, we'll start with the type of purchases. This is a supply contract, where government agencies require a wide array of products from office supplies to medical equipment, vehicles, and IT software. Some examples include supplying computers and peripherals for federal agencies or providing school supplies for a local school district. And you can find these solicitations on sam.gov, GSA eBuy, or the state procurement websites. Then there are service contracts. And this includes services, as in consulting, legal services, marketing, financial management, and it can be a wide range of technical services as well, including IT, cybersecurity, software, engineering, and maintenance. There's also facility management, janitorial, landscaping, building maintenance services for government buildings. And you can find these service contracts are posted on platforms like sam.gov and the local procurement sites. and the industry's specific portals. Next, we go to other types of purchases, as in construction contracts. Providing or renovating government buildings and roads, bridges, and other public works will be an example of construction contract. There are also specialty construction, like projects for environmental remediation, energy efficient retrofits, or military installations. And you can find examples such as constructing a new federal office building or repairing a municipal roadways. And you can find those contracts, and they're often listed in sam.gov or the state like IDOT, or even local procurement portals for your local village or city. And then there's research and development contracts. The innovation and technology contracts are aimed at developing new technologies, scientific research, or defense-related innovations. And then there's also the small business innovation research, a federal program that provides funding for small businesses to engage in research and development for the potential of commercialization of their products. Examples include developing a cybersecurity technology for the Department of Defense or partnering with state universities for environmental research. There's also clients I have that do research with sensors, and there are several phases to do in research and development and SBIR. And as you work through that contract, they will fund you roughly $50,000 to work through a scope of work to come up with a solution that they need innovation on. And that can progress to the second tier, where there's additional funds to go through the prototyping process, and even a third phase where they're going to take that product that has been gone through the innovation and research program to actually put that into a commercialized setting. So now the government agencies can purchase that product, and it's graduated to the point where it can be listed on a GSA schedule as a product and get a national stock number. You can find these opportunities with sam.gov and through specific agencies like NASA and NIH. Subcontracting opportunities are a major way for businesses to get started in government contracts. Large contracts are awarded by the government and require prime contractors to subcontract portions of the work to small businesses or specialized firms. And examples would be providing a niche software solution for a part of a larger defense contract, or supplying materials for a state-funded highway project under a prime contractor. And subcontracting opportunities have been found by networking with prime contractors, attending industry events, and using platforms like SBA's Subnet. With quite a bit of market research, you can go and find public information and saying who has been awarded contracts in the past and what type of contract was awarded. And if your company can fulfill some of those niches to a prime contract holder, that's when we can help you make connections and attend events so that you can get in front of those people to say, I could be a great contributor to the big contract that was awarded to you. And that could be as simple as being a gravel hauler for an IDOT program when they're replacing the freeway or replacing the roadways. Then there are also set-aside contracts. Small businesses set-aside contracts are reserved exclusively for small businesses, including those owned by veterans, women, minority, or disadvantaged groups. And examples of these are the 8A program, which the contract set aside for businesses owned by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals, and also the Hub Zone, which contracts for businesses located in historically underutilized business zones. And how to find those set-aside opportunities are predominantly listed in sam.gov or other federal procurement sites. This is where your certifications matter, and a strategy to obtain those, maintain them, and make sure that they don't close out when you are in the midst of reviewing larger contracts as you progress through each one. And that's something we can discuss on one-on-one consultation to get the best strategy for your business. Next, we have GSA schedules. These are pre-negotiated contracts for long-term government-wide contracts for commercial firms to provide products and services at a pre-negotiated prices. Examples include for IT equipment, software and services, simply the Microsoft suite needs to be made available, and almost every government agency needs it. So that would be an example of a product that would be listed on a GSA schedule. And then there are professional services as well. And there's quite a bit of verification that they need to do when you're offering services to make sure that you're a competent accountant, an attorney, or any of those other services that are needing to be procured as a professional service that you're providing. And a GSA contract is basically, you are now part of the parts bin for the federal government. Your specific product, whether it's a comb, a valve, maybe something more sophisticated, the government sees that there's an opportunity across multiple agencies that your product or your service is necessary for them to conduct business. So they no longer have to go an individual contract to get that product. You are now under a multiple award schedule. So you'll be able to get direct orders, even with a credit card, from a procurement officer to buy the products that you offer in the quantities that they need. The other is grants and cooperative agreements. Funding for specific projects, these are not traditional contracts. These are government funded opportunities for projects in areas like education, healthcare, and community development. And examples include a grant to develop renewable energy solutions, or a cooperative agreement to improve public health initiatives. And you can find the grants listed on grants.gov, while cooperative agreements can be found on agency-specific websites. So that means you could be working with a school district and a dietitian to come up with a better lunch to encourage better eating habits that do ultimately provide the deliverables for the goals of the agency that would be in charge of those. We also have micro purchase orders. The government agencies can purchase under a certain threshold, typically $10,000 for federal contracts, without competitive bidding, providing quick opportunities for small businesses. These micro purchases are also great ways for small businesses to get into the contracting space, because you have something that the government needs and wants, and they're willing to fast track that by purchasing a smaller quantity of those. And you'll be able to see those solicitations on different websites, including sam.gov. A micro purchase of office supplies and minor IT equipment is a great example, or a quick contract to make repairs to a municipal building may have damage related to weather, and they need to remedy much faster than the process would be to put out an entire contract and get it approved and then be able to begin the work. The next one is an indefinite delivery or indefinite quantity contracts. IDIQ contracts allow the government to purchase a certain amount of goods or services without specifying the exact quantities and at the time of the contract award. A federal example of an IDIQ is for IT services that can be called upon as needed over several years, or it can be for an ongoing facility maintenance. And these IDIQ opportunities are advertised on sam.gov and local procurement websites. And the IPG and bid match are good examples of those for state level contracts. The procurement process starts with the solicitation. Government agencies issue solicitations or requests for proposals, and when they need to procure goods or services. These documents outline the requirements and the criteria for the contract. When you review a solicitation, there are maybe as many as 40 pages, or if it involves something very technical, it could go up to 100 pages. The most important thing to understand is you are reading the contract when you are reviewing the solicitation. The only thing that makes the difference between the solicitation and the contract is whether it's been awarded to your company and the dollar amount that you bid. So please, when you review solicitations, every page matters. That's why it's there. Even if you feel like you're reading some cookie cutter language, you need to make sure that you're actually understanding what is there, because you will be held accountable in that contract if you're not able to meet um, the criteria that is listed. Then goes to the client review process. This is where you're reading through this contract, and you want to read the entire document and detail how you're going to meet the requirements and at what cost. It is most important that you understand that you are bidding your price. We do understand that the government is trying to get the best value, but that doesn't always mean the best price. In some instances, it certainly does. In other cases, they're looking for the best qualifying service or product when reviewing the contract. So remember, your bid is a bid that takes into account of all the expenses necessary to bring that contract to fruition and ultimately have the payday at the end. So if you need to bring on additional staff or acquire equipment or even access to capital as a line of credit, all of those expenses should be accounted for when going through the review process before you go to bidding. And bidding, companies submit their bids and proposals in response to this solicitation, detailing how they will meet to meet those requirements and at what cost. When that bid is submitted, it'll go through the evaluation process. The government evaluates the bid based on factors such as price, technical capabilities, past performance, and other criteria specified in the solicitation. One thing I always like to remind my clients is the evaluation is done by another human being in the government. They are not necessarily the technical expert when it pertains to your service or your product, but their role and responsibility is to make sure in the evaluation that you are the best option for them. There's contact information listed with every solicitation, emails, telephone numbers, names. You can reach out to those people and ask them specific questions that you need answered. They may not have the ability to answer very general questions, but if it's specific to the contract and you need clarification, they are there to help you with that. And it is not a negative thing to contact a contract officer. Your engagement with them is building a relationship. So that's why I ask my clients to make sure they ask poignant questions to the contract officer to make sure that you're building a good relationship with the person that you're speaking with or having correspondence with, because they are part of the decision-making process. And then finally, there's the awarding of the contract. The contract is awarded to the bidder that meets the evaluation criteria, and which can be the lowest bidder or the one offering the best value. And I tell my clients, if you're not awarded the contract, that is not bad news. That just means that we understand that that bid was not successful. And we can also ask if there's some information for them to tell us how they determined that our solicitation was not the best option for them. And we can tailor that towards the next solicitation, understanding how different government entities and their purchasing power, what they're looking for, and we can clarify that and do more market research to make sure we've got the best bid available to them. The next are the federal sourcing opportunities. So throughout this presentation, you've been hearing about where these come from, who they come from. This is where we can find them. The first and the largest is sam.gov, and it's a central platform for federal procurement and opportunities. You must register first as a user to be able to view solicitations. You then, secondly, have to register under that personal profile. You need to register your business formally with the federal government. And you will be required to submit several documents to verify that you are part of the ownership and that structure could be registered with the government so they can understand your entity, and then you will be permitted to bid on the contracts or on the solicitations and hoping to get awarded the contract. The next is the Unison Marketplace. This is an online reverse auction marketplace for federal, state, and local opportunities. So they are looking to secure certain products, and you can engage in this reverse auction marketplace in order to see if it's a viable opportunity for your business. The next is Subnet, and this is a great opportunity for a lot of clients that are getting into government contracting. Subnet is a platform for finding subcontracting opportunities with federal prime contractors. So federal prime contractors have an obligation inside their contract to say, we are going to subcontract to different socioeconomic groups that have been certified. And this ultimately serves the prime and the federal government to say, we are doing our very best to spread opportunity fair and equitably, because the primes also have to adhere to the spending allocations outlined in the contract to make sure that businesses can take advantage of the set-asides. The next is the Small Business Innovation Research, and you can go to sbir.gov, and this is funding for small businesses to engage in federal research and development contracts. Boeing and other large defense contractors are not that flexible. Yes, they have a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of resources, but they're putting that to work every day and providing the government the products that they work through on the solicitation. But small companies are much more flexible in being able to take a team of 2 or 3 people and apply those grant funds to come out with a result that the government sees as productive, and they can continue funding you until they feel that it's no longer worth it, but it's all, or they can also say, wow, we want to take you to the commercialization process because your innovation on this product is ready for commercialization and we, the government, want to purchase. It's kind of a long process, but they fund you to do that crucial amount of research and development. And so you know how much time and energy you can invest with the amount that was awarded in the grant. The next is GSA eBuy, but you must have a GSA contract. And the GSA eBuy or GSA Advantage, gsa.gov, is able for you to view the catalog that other government agencies use to shop. Just like we all do online shopping, this is the online shopping destination for the federal government. And the purpose is for online platforms or RFQs and for GSA schedule holders. So if you have a product that the government deems necessary, you can submit your information and apply to get your product listed on the GSA schedule, which will get you a national stock number. And that national stock number can be something as simple as a pocket comb, or it could be something related to the defense industry, and every division of the government sees that it's necessary and they need to buy it. Now we've got state and local sourcing opportunities. First, the Board of Elections here in the state of Illinois. You can visit the Board of Elections and register your business with the Board of Elections. The Board of Elections purchase cycle is tied to the election cycle, but they may need a certain amount of supplies or personnel in order to conduct a fair election. So that's where you can find opportunities with the Board of Elections. When you register with them, it actually helps you register with the Illinois Procurement Gateway. This is a central registration for vendors doing business in the state of Illinois. They will ask you for a BOE number when you go to register with the IPG, the Illinois Procurement Gateway. So follow this order of operations because it will help you clarify all the registrations you have leading up to each one as you go through this. BidBuy is an e-procurement system that provides procurement efficiency, reduces transaction costs, and increases information and available vendors to state agencies. This system here is where you get to see different solicitations coming out, and you can review them. And if you're registered, you can actually bid on these contracts that are on the state level. On the state level, we also have IDOT. This is the Chief Procurement Officer for highway construction, is responsible for overseeing all construction related procurement activity at IDOT. IDOT is a great way to get into government contracting and also use that strategy of looking at subcontracting with larger companies that already have a prime contract with IDOT. But if you are someone in the concrete business, an opportunity might be IDOT needs you to come in and do curbing because they're focused on laying down 3 lanes. They want you to come in and do the part of the job that actually would make them less efficient, but it would be a great payday for you and your crew to be able to do projects such as that. And that will also lead into past performance and allow you to be able to be more attractive to the future solicitations out there as procurement officers review them. The next one is the Illinois Tollway. The Illinois Tollway Act requires that the tollway advertise procurements above the small purchase threshold in the state of Illinois' procurement bulletin, which can be found here at the link. The Illinois Tollway is self-funded, so it is a great way for businesses that can offer services and products to the tollway to get into government contracting. You're not required to register with the state or with the federal government to work with the Illinois Tollway because they are a self-funded entity. Next is the Chicago Department of Procurement Services, and they are the contracting, certification, and compliance authority for the city of Chicago. If you want to work with the city of Chicago to offer your services, we can help you get registered and get through the hurdles necessary in order to successfully bid and get awarded those contracts. And then we have the other side of City Hall, and that's Cook County procurement. The mission of the Office of the Chief Procurement is to provide an open and transparent procurement process that promotes maximum competition, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and implements efficient procurement practices and leverages the county's overall resources to achieve the best value and quality. So if there is a solicitation from the county, this is a great step, a way to see if it's the right opportunity for you, and you can go and bid that opportunity without many hurdles in your way. The chief procurement offices for the state of Illinois include the Capital Development Board, the Department of Transportation, General Services, and the Institutions for Higher Education. The Institutions for Higher Education are state-funded educational institutions, and they need all types of products. You name it, they probably need it because they house students, they have staff, they have facilities that need to be maintained. This is a great destination for small businesses to look for solicitations because you could be working with a community college or a local state education office to help them with services and products that they don't have. Now, assessing solicitations and government contracts is a critical step for businesses looking into securing contracts. A well-defined strategy ensures that you invest your time and resources in opportunities that align with your capabilities and business goals. Here is a strategy that you can follow. By following a strategy, you can systematically assess government contracting solicitations, determine which opportunities are worth pursuing, and ensure that your proposals are competitive and compliant. So in the initial screening, you want to see if it's relevant to your business. Quickly determine if the solicitation aligns with your core business offerings and check the NACIS codes, which are the North American industry codes, keywords, and the scope of work. I tell my clients, when you're reading a solicitation, if you're getting through several pages and saying, I don't think this is me, I don't know if I'm going to do this, what you simply need to do is make it some value come out of that assessment and say, well, I don't think I actually, what the government's looking for under this NICS code is something that I should be utilizing in my research. So maybe I want to change the NICS code, or I want to be more aware of the keywords that I'm using in order to search out different solicitations. And then we have contract size and type. You review the contract size, whether it's a fixed price, cost reimbursement, time and materials, or decide if it fits your business model. Is the contract size manageable for your business? And are you familiar with the contract type? So many construction businesses are very familiar with contracts, but the government does not pay in multiple phases of completion of a construction contract like many contracts do in the private sector. In this case, they are going to pay you at the end. And if the size of the work is beyond your ability to complete before you have to pay for all your materials and your employees and any other sub work that's necessary to complete the contract, you need to take that into account and maybe be honest with yourself to say, I'm not that big, but I want to be. So always when you review a solicitation, make it worth your while to contribute it towards market research, whether it was a good outcome or a bad outcome when you read it. Now, understanding the requirements, you need to read the documents thoroughly. Carefully read the RFP or the RFQ or the IFB and pay close attention to the statement of work, performance requirements, and technical specifications. Do you fully understand what the government's asking for? And are those requirements within your expertise? On the evaluation criteria, you want to identify how the government will evaluate the proposals, price, technical capability, past performance. Understand the scoring methodology if provided. If you are confident in meeting or exceeding those, are you confident in meeting or exceeding those evaluation criteria? And we can help you here at the Apex Accelerator do some market research to see what had happened in previous contracts, how much was awarded, who were they awarded to. We can sometimes dig up that information in order for you to make a more competitive bid. Then assessing your capability, resource availability. Evaluate whether your business has the necessary resources, personnel, equipment, technology to fulfill the contract requirements. Do you have the capacity to deliver on time within budget? That is truly the most important, because if you fail in government contracting to give them the deliverables and the time they've allocated in that contract, you can essentially become blacklisted from that agency, and you will no longer be considered in the review process if you bid with every bit of your I's dotted and T's crossed. They still will see that you were not able to perform on a previous contract, and they will not be able to award it to you. And that's where past performance matters. You want to compare the requirements with previous contracts or projects, and past performance is often a critical evaluation for criteria. Do you have a proven track record that aligns with the solicitation requirements? When you're putting together your proposal, you are actually making the case to the procurement officer that you are the best choice. And just like any of us, we would like to see how you've completed 3 or more previous projects to the satisfaction of the agency or the customer or the client. So it's always crucial to understand and be honest with yourself if you are capable. Then we want to do a risk assessment. We want to analyze the solicitation for any potential risks, such as complex compliance requirements, tight deadlines, or unfamiliar regulations. You can manage these risks effectively. Are there any red flags that could jeopardize your ability to perform. I've had this instance come up with a previous client that was wanting to give the government a CRM for 1 million users. And inside that solicitation, we read down to the point where it needed to be accessible by people with disabilities and how they define the ability for the blind to engage in an internet platform. That client did not have an answer to be able to do that. And it was very difficult for them to even consider what would be the solution. So therefore, the time frame for them to submit their bid was tightening quickly because they didn't have a solution to simply having the users who are blind be able to access a fair and comparable system for them to be able to use. So it's very important that we look at the risks involved in government contracts. Then there's the cost and pricing strategy. Estimate the costs involved in fulfilling the contract, including direct and indirect costs, to develop a competitive pricing strategy. Can you deliver profitably while remaining competitive? That is probably the best advice without a question mark at the end. We want companies to be profitable when they engage in government contracting, and we also want them to walk the fine line of competitiveness. If you're not awarded a contract, it can feel like a loss. But the last thing you want to do is get awarded a contract where you're not profitable. The next is a compliance check. We have regulatory compliance. Ensure that you can meet all regulatory, legal, and certification requirements specified on the solicitation. Are you compliant with all necessary regulations and certifications? Then there's also small business set-asides. If applicable, determine if the solicitation has a set-aside for a small business like 8A or Hub Zone or other designations. And the criteria is, do you qualify for a set-aside? Are there any other additional benefits or limitations? And for those that are interested in certifications and getting into the set-asides, that's where the Apex can help you out in that strategy and understand how you can get those certifications, how they apply, and how much time you have before you're not able to use the example of 8A. It only lasts 9 years, no matter how many contracts you've engaged in or how much your company has grown. Once you exceed 9 years, you are not eligible for 8A set-aside contracts. Now we want to look at competitive analysis. Research potential competitors and analyze their strengths and weaknesses in relation to the solicitation. Who are the main competitors? How does your offer compare in terms of price, quality, and past performance? This may involve teaming up in a partnership. Consider forming a partnership or a joint venture with other firms in the solicitation to do large complex contracts that you can't do on your own. Would a partnership improve you in chances of winning? And are you comfortable with the terms of the collaboration? So in this case, you may have a socioeconomic certification as in a minority, or you're disabled, or you're a woman or a veteran. And that certification will help in the awarding process, but you can't do 100% of the work. That's when you look for another company or partner to be able to help you satisfy the other part of the contract that isn't, you're not able to service directly. So consider that if you have someone that you would be willing to partner with and truly trust, because you are going to be completing the contract together. Next is the decision-making process. Is it a go or no go? Based on the analysis, you decide whether to pursue the solicitation, consider the potential return on investment, does it align with strategic goals and the likelihood of winning? Is this a strategic opportunity for your business? Is this a potential reward worth the effort and the risk? The important thing to remember in making the decision is, are you adding another revenue stream? If you are, you're most likely in the right spot, as in your company already is successful in what they do in the private sector, and that you can easily pivot to be able to provide the same services and products to the federal government or any of the agencies below that. And then there is the bid and a no bid review. Conduct a formal review of your team and discuss the pros and cons of bidding on the solicitation. Involve key stakeholders in the decision. Have all the relevant factors been considered, and is there a consensus on the decision? You'll have to mobilize certain employees. You'll have to take them as the resources applied to other parts of your business, and then you're going to have them dedicated to the contract that you're bidding on. So it's always important to understand the workload and the capabilities of your business in order to consider whether it's going to be a bid or a no bid contract for you. Develop a strong proposal. If you decide to bid, start preparing a comprehensive proposal that addresses all the solicitation's requirements and evaluation criteria. Is your proposal tailored to the solicitation? Does it clearly demonstrate your value proposition and your capabilities? This is when you're selling yourself to the decision makers on the procurement side. The officers that are be looking at your proposal and your bid, you are selling them on you being the right choice, that your company is the prevailing option when it comes to getting their services or products. And then a compliance review. Ensure that your proposal is fully compliant with the solicitation's instructions, format, and submission deadlines. Have you followed all the submission guidelines? Is everything in place in a timely and in a compliant submission? So in some cases, there's prevailing wages, and those need to be documented, and they also need to be submitted in order for you to receive payment. And if you do not have a robust payroll system that you adhere to, you will come up against many conflicts in the contract if you're not able to pay your employees the correct wages and in a timely fashion. It could ultimately disrupt the contract, and you'll be stuck with the expenses. Next is the post-submission follow-up. Keep an eye on any amendments, clarifications, or Q&A sessions related to the solicitation. The criteria: are you staying informed of any changes that would impact your proposal? Just like you have a project lead or a manager of projects, this person has to have the time and ability to be able to maintain the status of the contract after it's been submitted. Because if they ask for additional documentation, there is a small window for you to provide that. And if you do not provide it, then it's very easy for them to say, well, they're not a very good communicator. I've asked for this information within a certain time frame. I did not receive it. That ultimately determines that you're not eligible to be awarded the contract. And then engage with the contracting officer. Maintain communication with the contract officer at any point of post-submission inquiries and discussions. Are you proactive in addressing any issues or questions that arise? They're just as much of a human being as we are, and they see it as a positive thing when you are engaging with them to make sure that ultimately you and the contract officer are going to be able to bring the contract to fruition and put it as a notch in your belt for success, as in going to the next contract or getting to the next position inside the government. So everybody's invested in the success, and you should not abstain from contacting the contracting officer. It is a must in order to build that relationship. So once again, is your business ready? Are you an established business? In general, we like to work with businesses that have been established in the past and within 2 years. So it's not always necessary, but it's always good to have 2 years of regular business in the private sector as previous experience. So therefore you can communicate the pricing that is sufficient for the project, and that you also know your costs year over year so that you're competitive and profitable when reviewing solicitations and bidding. And do you have a business plan? If you do, that's wonderful. But does that business plan also have a section outlining how you're going to conduct business with the government? It is just as important as any other division of your business, big or small, that you outline how you're going to engage and sell to the government. Can you afford to sell to the government? Many government contracts pay at the end when all the deliverables have been received and the government will start issuing payment. In that time that you are engaged in the contract, you'll have to manage your company's cash flow in order to manage the expenses that are incurred in servicing this contract. So those expenses need to be understood upfront, and that you're going to be able to manage them. So if you need access to capital, or you need help with a business plan, or even establish your business, Business Growth Services with Jamie and the rest of the team are excellent resources to help you tighten up your business acumen or any loose ends. And then, does your company have a history of sales? Many of the solicitations out there are going to want to know, have you done this before? How much have you sold? The government says I need 50,000 units of your product. Have you ever sold 50,000? Can you handle a purchase order of that size? They may ask for that, just a simple copy of an invoice that shows that someone had purchased a certain number of products from you, and that would qualify you to be able to serve that contract. And have you done the necessary market research? When you're looking to work with the government, do you know how much the government paid previously for a construction project of a similar scope? Have you seen what they've paid in the past for different consumer products? That's where the Apex can really help you out and find out if your product is worth the time and the effort to get it procured by the federal government. We all believe in our products and services. That's why we're entrepreneurs and business owners. But most importantly, is the government buying? Because that's the marketplace we're engaging in. And last, is your company e-commerce capable? If the government wants to buy your product and you've been telling your customers that you don't take credit cards for various reasons, the government's going to say, I only pay by credit card for a small procurement that is under a $10,000 threshold. And if you cannot process the payment, they will not be able to purchase the product from you, because that's the mechanism in which a lot of agencies purchase under $10,000, is they use credit cards to pay you, the business. And if you've answered no to any of these questions, once again, the relationship managers can help you at no cost prepare your business for these opportunities. And please send an email to outreach@southlanddevelopment.org if you need assistance with your business outside of government contracting. We do almost all of our consultations and assessing and advising sessions are done virtually or at your place of business, depending on what we're trying to help you with. We're trying to help you with operations. Of course, we'd like to visit and see how you guys operate. And if you're looking for help with a business plan, no need to put into a commute. Let's get online. Let's compare. Let's make some assessments, and let's do this virtually to conserve the most time of the relationship manager and you, the business owner. I certainly don't like to be in traffic, but I'll definitely come to visit if you need me. And then if you've answered yes to all of these, the Apex is the right stop for you to start building a strategy and be able to start reviewing solicitations that may be a great opportunity for your company. It takes a lot of companies many months to understand what the solicitations are, whether they're capable of those, but none of those efforts are futile because that's market research and preparing your company for future opportunities. As long as we understand the strategy together that we're building towards a greater opportunity, none of these efforts are in vain. But just like any any adding any revenue stream, there are going to be difficulties along the way, and we want to make sure that the Southland Development Authority can help you with all of those things. So at this time, I'd like to scroll back just to the survey so we can get some more information from you if you're willing to take it. We're grateful to read the information that you provide so we can add additional services and programming. And I'm going to start with the Q&A. It looks like we have 3 questions listed here in the Q&A. Mr. Alan Young says, will you be sending out the slides so that we have the URL links? Absolutely. And if you're having any trouble with those, feel free to email me and I'll be happy to help you out. And then another attendee said, you should explain the regulation and compliance better. How would you evaluate the FAR or the DFAR requirements to know they truly are compliant? That's correct. We spend that time on one-on-one reviewing the FAR to make sure that you understand the compliance that is required to fulfill that contract. And the last one is, will we get access to the presentation in these slides? Yes, of course. You can also visit the East Center where we asked you to register earlier in an email to remind you that the presentation was today at 1 o'clock. Feel free to register there. And that is really the fastest way for us to connect, to get to one-on-one consultations so we can tackle the hurdles that are in front of you when trying to engage in government contracting. Now, if there's any other questions, please place them in the Q&A and I'll be happy to answer them. I'll give you guys a few minutes to type those out. While we're waiting for any additional questions, we have some additional programming coming up. Be aware that there will be an email coming out to many of you letting you know that we are going to have the Commission on Equity and Inclusion come to the Markham Community Center on October 15th at 5:30 to give a presentation on how certifications can help your business and how to engage in the certification process so that you can become certified as a minority business entity here in the state of Illinois, which will ultimately help you determine if it's a viable opportunity for your business as well. Doesn't look like we have any other questions. So at this time, I'm going to thank everybody for coming out and doing the presentation. Thank you, Jamie, for your presentation with Business Growth Services. And we look forward to your engagement with us at the Apex Accelerator and with the Business Growth Services team. We're here to help all businesses in Southern Cook County succeed with the Business Growth Services program. And for the Apex program, we're here statewide to help you guys out and learning more about the process and actually find solicitations that can make your business more viable in the future. So thank you everybody for joining and have a wonderful day.